So you know that feeling when you're about to raise your prices and suddenly there is this wave of guilt that rushes over you? That little voice that whispers, who do you think you are? Or is it really okay to charge that much? And if you're nodding your head right now, this episode is especially for you. You know that you're providing value to your clients and you know that your clients are getting results. But every time you think about raising your prices, you feel this overwhelming feeling of guilt, like somehow making money means that you're not being faithful enough. And you know what? I get it. I've been there. That place that you're torn between building a profitable business, feeling like you're somehow betraying your calling. But here's what I've learned. This isn't just about making money. It's about mindset, stewardship, and understanding how God views prosperity. So today we are going to dive a little bit deeper into that. So I'm going to share a Bible story with you that I think will help kind of change your perspective on this topic. And I know that it did for me, but it is in Matthew 25. And to me, I think it really speaks to the struggle that we face with pricing and profit. And if you're not familiar with it, essentially what it is in this story, there's a master and he has 3 servants that he gives these things called talents or money before they go on a journey. And 2 of the servants invest what they're given and they double it. Then there's this 3rd servant who buries his talent in the ground because he's afraid of losing it. And I think to me, this is where it gets interesting. So the master comes back and he doesn't praise the servant for being modest or humble with his resources. What he does is celebrates the 2 that went in and multiplied what they were given. And he calls them good and faithful servants. And I find that to be so interesting because he specifically praises them because of the increase. And what really hit me is that 3rd servant who buried his talent, he actually thought that he was doing the right thing. And he said, well, I did it because, Master, I knew that you were a hard man and I was afraid if I went out and hid your talent that, I was afraid and I went out and hid your talent. And the thing about it is that he didn't bury that talent because of greed. He buried it out of fear, and that fear was disguised as humility, right? Does that sound familiar to any of you? I know it did for me. And every time I think of this parable, I end up feeling like it is so common. I can't help but think that there are so many more of us that kind of feel the same way. And in discussions that I've had just over the years with entrepreneurs, I know that we all end up feeling this level of, probably imposter syndrome would be the closest thing I could say, but we're burying our talents and undercharging for our services. So many of us do this, right? Especially when we're first starting out, but we're playing small in all of it. And I think it's probably because we feel like we're being humble or we're being faithful. And what if we were like those first 2 servants who were actually called to multiply? And we were charging appropriately for our services instead of, being scared or, doing what we think is what we're supposed to do or the next right thing, right? Like, it's fine to have integrity, of course, but I think that a lot of times we're doing it for the wrong reasons and it's just fear rather than, us being outrageous with our pricing, of course. And I know that I spent years, so many years within the first phase of my business, just feeling like me being priced as low was an act of service. And that somehow if I were charging or commanding a premium of my prices, that I wasn't being faithful to my calling. And that God, would commend me for being so humble. But to me, there was this powerful moment when God showed me that when we are undercharging, we're actually doing a disservice. And we're doing a disservice in 3 different ways to 3 different groups. Okay, so first we have our clients who we're doing a disservice to because we are teaching them that it is okay to undervalue the transformation that we provide to them. right? Like they think, okay, well, I can go out and I can go with somebody else that's cheaper and they'll do just as good of a job as what you do. The second thing is that we're just doing a disservice to our businesses because we can't sustainably serve at our highest capacity if we don't even have the funds to do it. So I'll give you an example. Just say you want to hire a team, right? Because you're stretched so thin and you're just basically at burnout, and you are cutting corners with your clients, and you are just trying to get things done. You're not able to serve at your highest level because you're not making enough money to help step into that next phase of your business. And you're not able to support your family if you're not charging the right rates. And it just leads, you're in the wrong mindset. You are stressed out. You're all of these things when in all actuality, you are ready to step into that next phase, but you're not doing it because you need to charge more. And the third one is our calling. And we're doing a disservice to it because we're limiting our capacity to go out there and create a kingdom impact. And I want to sit in that. How many things end up being affected by the fact that we're not running our business in a sustainable way? And I knew for so many years of my business that I wasn't doing it in a sustainable way, and it reflected in a lot of different areas. But I thought that's just what you had to do, right? Like I didn't want to be like all of those other people charging outrageous prices and doing, what I thought was like unnecessary. They were charging unnecessary prices. And to some degree, there are some people in some industries that it surprises me at the prices that they charge, but ultimately it's about their worth and what people are willing to pay. And for myself, I was like, you know what? I can't keep running my business like this. So I sat down and I got very detailed about all of the things that I was doing. And I started to think, okay, well, what is the transformation that I'm actually providing to my clients? Like, how am I helping them in the way that only I can do it? And I thought, well, okay, this is not just impacting me, it's impacting my clients and their family and their businesses and their legacies when I'm doing a disservice to them. And I thought about, okay, well, if that's what I'm doing here, what is the long-term ripple effect of me going through and figuring out what transformation that I'm providing to them? And what level of commitment would I need to have in all of this to make sure that I'm creating the best results for my clients? Would I need to go out and figure out a new skill and teach myself new things? Do I need to, level up on my expertise? Do I need to go out and design a new website and have this great visual brand perception because maybe I already have the skills and the talents? Whatever that looked like, what was I committed to doing in order to make sure that I was going to provide this transformation? And I thought, does my pricing support what I need in order to do this? And obviously the answer was no. And I thought, okay, well, if that's the case, well, what resources do I need to have in order to make this happen? How can I go out and serve my clients in the best capacity? And sometimes that meant, investing in a new tool that would save me time. Maybe that meant hiring a team, whatever that looked like at the time. And then I thought, okay, at when I was in this stage, I started to begin to think about, okay, well, the only other thing that I'm not incorporating is my kingdom impact, thinking on not just a more secular worldly level, but like, what does that look like in having a kingdom impact? And I thought, okay, well, how does this price that I'm wanting to step into enable me to serve more effectively? If I'm going to do this, how can I look at the kingdom impact that I'm about to make? And what opportunities within ministry would I be able to create? And if you know any of the other things that I've spoken on, to me, ministry isn't like going and serving in a church. Ministry is everything that you're doing in your business. Your business is an opportunity to minister to others, and it doesn't have to look so black and white. Ministering to others could look like serving in your best capacity and providing them the highest quality service. It could be actually speaking to them about faith. It could be integrating your values into everything that you're doing with your business. And so I thought, okay, well, if I went in and I increased my profits, how would this new profit fuel everything that I'm wanting to do within the kingdom and advance it? And last year, I sat and I thought, okay, well, I'm preparing to launch my brand legacy blueprint. And in all of this, right, like I'm trying to figure out pricing, what makes the most sense. And I felt that God was nudging me to want to do something in a more significant capacity. He wanted me to significantly raise the price of my course. And I resisted because I was like, no, I want to make this affordable. I want to make this sustainable. So I had even reverted back to that same old mindset that I was in. And no matter what business you're in, I think that we all face this, but I felt that old level of guilt that was creeping in. And I realized something when he spoke to me, that if I were to charge a premium for my prices, it would allow me a few things. First, I could actually take on fewer clients and serve them in a better capacity. I would be able to serve them with more depth because I wasn't stretched thin and trying to help a million different people. And it allowed me more opportunities to support more faith-driven businesses, which is when I stepped into the creation of Eden and Empire, right? So I was charging a premium on this end, which allowed me the opportunity to invest more of my time to help others in a different capacity. And I think that the result ended up being is that I was able to help people in a better capacity because I was running it in a sustainable way. And I think the thing that I'm trying to drive home is that the pricing isn't just about you. It's about creating that impact for others. It's about stewardship. It's about creating a sustainable impact. It's about building something that serves both you and your clients. And, if I were to encourage you to do anything this week, it would be to do an audit of your business and figure out, okay, well, what transformation am I actually providing? And what is the long-term effect if I were to go in and make these changes? And what is the ripple effect that would happen when I go in and make these changes? And I want you to check your mindset in all of this. Do you have more of a scarcity mindset about money and that you're going to have to do it in a way that, you have to you do it with the least amount of resources available to you? Or do you know that you were created and you are worthy of having abundance? I want you to also look at those and replace those with biblical truths, because God went in and placed all of these things within the Bible that talk about stewardship. And I want you to look at, well, if I increased my profit, how could I increase my stewardship? How could I fuel the mission that I'm, trying to do with my business? What am I even called to do? Am I able to do that with where I'm at now? Do my current prices reflect a sustainable business? And if they don't, how can you go in and realign them? Do they align with your long-term goals? So go deep in thought. There's so many questions, but in all of this, I want you to remember that God did not give you your gifts just so you could struggle to make ends meet, right? He gave you your business, and I genuinely believe that you were the one that was called to do it, to create an impact, to impact very specific people. And that requires resources. And you're not just building a business, you are building a legacy. And we go into this in this next episode about the legacy building. But I want you to really get into that mindset that you are so worthy of all of the things that are coming in your business, all of the things that you are to have, simply just by stepping out in your boldness and not playing it safe and being humble and thinking that you have to hold things close in. And, there's a level, of course, of being humble and doing things in a place of integrity with your business. But just remember that you got to where you are with your business for a reason, and you are so worthy of stepping into that next space. And sometimes that means raising your prices so that you can actually serve your clients better. So I hope that you catch us in the next episode on Friday, because we're going to go deeper into how do you even build a legacy. So I will catch you in that next episode.